Welcome to yoga practice. I hope to plant a spark of joy today. And with that, perhaps there's the usual happening, oftentimes overburdening ourselves with expectations about the practice and with things to do. When we want a little bit of joy, we might want to create some space for it. And that's also linking quite well into our change of season here where we are, and taking us into autumn, hopefully a bit more gracefully. So in today's practice, I would like you to have a block and perhaps a blanket. Now, I will be very daring and taking the socks off straight away, and you might wonder why I'm still standing, because that's how we're starting today, in a standing position. So once you have prepared yourself and perhaps bared your feet, and the feet are only bare so we can connect a little bit deeper to the ground. There are things like yoga socks and the like, but as long as we can bear the temperature around the feet, barefoot is the better choice. Now, stepping perhaps to the shorter front edge of the mat, and from there, lifting up and tall in your stance and starting to take a few steps on the spot. You could choose to close your eyes or lower your gaze and just move away from that surrounds you in that sense to how you're feeling stepping from one foot upon the other. And unlike our usual approach where we perfectly align our feet, today I would love you to end, once you feel it's enough, in a simple standing position, perhaps not even looking down how your feet are placed, but instead engaging the inner heels slightly toward each other. And perhaps with that comes a little lift through your spine, leaving your shoulders easy and standing upright with the crown of the head to the ceiling, while you breathe in, looking towards your right, with your out breath centering the head, with the in breath looking to your left, the out breath to center the head, the in breath to bring the right ear to the right shoulder, the out breath to center, the inhale the left ear to the left shoulder, the out breath to center, the inhale to lift the chin and roll your eye gaze up, the out breath to draw the chin towards the throat. Stand here, chin to throat, and start to lift up a bit more through the back of your neck. Take the approach of loosening slightly through your knees, and then lift your shoulders up as you lift your head. On the out breath, drop the shoulders. The in breath to draw them back up to the ears. The out breath to drop them. One more time, breath in to draw shoulders to ears, and out to let it go. As you stand now, turning the palms of your hands open, perhaps even extending out into the fingers. As you spread your hands, take your shoulder blades with a gentle wiggle down either side of your spine, but contain the lift of the sternum and keep that in nice and balanced in your back. As it might be to lean towards the left foot, raising your right and starting a few circles in the air, changing the direction, moving through the knee, moving through the pelvis, changing direction here too. And if you're still standing on the one leg, give it a little shake. And then land your foot again without thinking about it. So shifting the weight, raising the other and the circle of the foot. Changing directions here too. A little movement through the knee joint. A circle in the hip joint. Change of direction. And if you're still standing, extend that leg, give it a shake. And then land back down upon your feet. Take softness through the knees now and start to tilt your pelvis a few times forward and back. Perhaps allowing the arms to come in, a rolling of the shoulders open and close. The pelvis still tilting a little. Then pause with your arms and take a few circles into the hips, your knees still bend. Changing direction of these circles. And coming back inwards when you're ready. We will keep standing here and applying the breath of joy. For that, we have a 3-part in-breath and then a big breath out where we swing the arms down and forward. We'll do that for a few rounds. So if you choose, shoulders allowing to, please come along. If not, at least practicing what is available for you. The breath in, and out. In, and out. In, and out. And repeat. Last one coming up. When you complete it, allow your arms to swing out. Turn the palms back forward once they did, reactivating the inner heels towards each other. You might even lower your gaze or close your eyes. Standing and observing. What do you feel? What's your experience here? Is there some energy that came in? There might even be a subtle smile on your lips. As you blink your eyes open, stepping your feet a bit further apart, so landing at roughly about shoulder distance. Here, perhaps aligning the outer edges of the feet. Placing your hands down upon your thighs, a breath in. With the out breath, bending knees and hips as you lean your hands to the middle of your thighs and turn your fingers in. More important is how that looks in your stance. So we're aiming for a chair pose-like stance, only that the feet are wider. Your hands supporting on the middle of your thighs as you breathe out, round deeply into the spine cap. On the in-breath, either come back to the previous pose or lifting tail and heart. Exhaling, rounding back towards the cat. Keep that flowing for a few breaths. You can choose between neutral spine and back bend. Each out breath, you're in the cat. If you like, the exhalation might come from the mouth as you deeply round the back. One more round. Then come to your neutral spine. Let your hands slide down your legs towards a slightly wide-legged forward fold. A breath in to lengthen the spine forward into a half lift. And with the out breath, then stepping your right foot back, lowering your knee down behind you onto the floor. Have about a hip distance between the knee on the ground and your foot. Your front knee is aligning over the ankle. The back knee, there is the hip directly on top. As you breathe in now, let your upper body relax over the front leg. With the out breath in, start to uncurl your spine as you come to stand on knee and foot. For the in breath, could you extend your arms up? Maybe your gaze is lifting. Keep the front hip aligned with the back hip by lightly drawing it backwards deliberately. Have the palms of your hands facing at this point. Your little fingers looking forward. On your breath in, could you lift your gaze? On the breath out, make cactus arms and squeeze your shoulder blades down. Tuck the elbows a little bit in. Hold here, fingers spread out, heart lifted. Your gaze might be rolled up towards the ceiling. Next, inhale, extending your arms again. On the out breath, release your hands down onto the mat. Tuck your backside toes under, lift the knee off the floor, and step the back foot back to about shoulder distance apart from the other, aligning the outer edges of the feet as you come back to your forward fold. Inhaling, extending forward, half lift. Exhaling, folding back down into your stand. Keep your knees soft on the next exhale, uncurl, and let your hands just slide up back to the middle of your thighs. Turn your fingers inward and land back into your stand. So once more, it looks like a chair pose with the feet a little bit wider. If the previous cat-cow variation was suitable, you can return to this. Or you might start your out breath by drawing the tail under, gradually rounding the spine until the head comes low. You might then breathe in to lift your tailbone, open your belly, lift your chest, and then your head. So for these rounds, starting with the movement of the tailbone, and perhaps opting to move the head last. Repeating that for just a few more breaths. The movement starting from your tailbone, your breath guiding you through the whole spine. So using the full length of each breath to move in this way. Last round coming up, around the spine, and then let your hands just slide back down to the forward fold. Your hands might come up for a half lift as you're extending your back. Then bring the hands to the floor and take a step back with your left foot, grounding the back knee towards the mat and aligning yourself about hip distance, back hip over knee, front knee over your ankle. Once aligned, a breath in to release your upper body and let it hang over front side. For the out breath in, uncurling your spine. And on the inhale, lifting your arms. Now again, the arms might be extended here, the palms facing, the little fingers forward. If you lean like I am currently demonstrating right into the back leg, draw the front hip a little back and find your stance more evenly on both of your legs, active in the lower part of the body, perhaps even actively reaching the fingertips up. On your next inhale, could you raise your gaze? On the out breath, then perhaps the cactus arms come back and you're squeezing your shoulder blades closer and down the spine. Keep a hold here with your sternum reaching forward, your fingers spread out. If it's right, you can hold your gaze upward. See if your foundation gets shaky and firm it back up. A breath in to reach your arms back up. A breath out to land the hands onto the ground, tucking your backside toes under, lifting the knee off the mat. Now, turning as you ground your back foot to the space between your legs, and with that to the long side end of your mat. Your feet come back into a parallel position. You might rise up onto your fingertips or even use the block to rest the fingertips upon. On the out back then, starting to fold forward. Your hands might ground. Again, you could use the block. You could bring the hands back and align your fingertips with your toes. You might, as you lean forward, make sure that your knees are a bit soft and out of the lock, so that the tailbone is comfortably reaching a bit higher. While it feels like we're hanging down, hold that hanging down, but raise your shoulders gently up into the shoulder socket. You might feel here a little lift of energy as you do that. But keep exhaling perhaps a bit longer as you lean towards Vasarita Padottanasana, this wide-legged forward bend. On your next inhale, come back to the half version as you raise up onto fingertips. Start to swivel your left foot to the short side end of the mat. Bring your hands towards the inside of this foot and turn your backside heel out to the other short end of the mat. As you bring the palms of your hands to touch, lift away from the floor. Straighten both legs and reach towards your left hand side. The spine long like in a half lift. The micro bend in the front knee as I push away with the front foot. A breath in to begin rolling the right shoulder back. Your hand might end in the side of the waist, or your arm could be extended towards the ceiling. Keep that pushing away into the front foot and the top shoulder open. You may use the resistance of the back of your hand against your inner thigh. Now notice if you're still breathing and bring a gentle smile to your face. A breath in and a breath out to roll arm and shoulder back down. You might soften the front knee, walk your hands back towards the center and turn your feet into the same position, only on the other side. Right toes to the short edge, left heel to the back side. As you bring the hands to touch again, lifting off the floor, beginning to straighten the legs and starting to stand more on both of your feet as the spine is lengthening in the direction of your toes. Give a strong push into the floor here and take a breath in now to start rolling your left shoulder back. Same option, hand into the side of the waist, or perhaps extending the whole arm. When the arm becomes extended, it's even more important to use your resistance, that of back of the hand against the leg into the hand while you hold. Your gaze is deliberately up or down. Notice again, are you breathing? Are you standing balanced in your weight bearing? Breathing in again. As you breathe out, slowly rolling this downwards. Releasing the hands as you lift the back heel and step to the front. into your standing forward then. Use an out breath now to uncurl the spine slowly towards standing. Give your shoulders another lift and a gentle shrug, turning the palms back forward as you land. The inner heels are moving closer. You're standing tall, your gaze is steady, the eyes might be closed, and you're returning to the awareness of the feet on the floor. The breath as it flows, and the support from feet and legs that is holding you here. On the breath in then, lifting your arms back up. On the breath out, take a step back with your left foot or turn back towards the screen, whichever applies, with your legs out wide. Turning left toes to the short edge of the mat. The right heel lightly towards the backside end of the mat. As the breath in comes, your arms might extend. The front knee might bend. As you breathe out, you could rest one hand to the side of the waist and place the forearm upon your side. So it's a similar posture to the triangle, just a side angle pose. Here the front knee is aligning over the ankle, and if you're leaning down into the leg, push away from it. You could reach your arm up if your shoulder allowed, or keep the hand resting. You might again choose the gazing pose, whether that's up or down, feeling a sense of groundedness to the outer edge of the back foot. And perhaps your lower arm could extend too. In that case, extend against the inside of the leg and against the outer side of your arm. Noticing again if you're still breathing smoothly, and hold everything as it is. As you breathe in, we're reversing and extending the back arm down the leg, but lifting the other one up and extending into an exalted warrior form. The same might happen here as it does when we actually come from a warrior. So bring some more strength into the back leg rather than hanging in it, lifting from the leg. Your gaze could be upward, or you might look down towards the floor. I will now roll my arm and shoulder in, but only to take the block that I didn't bring with me. And then I will roll this back up and bring the arm upwards before extending over to the side and sliding the hand back into the side of the waist. I'm now placing the block with my hand on top down with a good distance towards the front toe, drawing the foot in, keeping the shoulder back, perhaps only fingertips on this block, maybe even trying to raise the back leg off the floor. If you do, flex the foot and turn your toes outwards, aiming to stack the hips and the shoulders. It is only a choice here to extend the arm to the ceiling. And I often find that that last bit might not serve me well. So look in, where does the happiness, the joy lie for you in this shape? Big toe down or full expression. Then point your toes, step the foot down, take the block to the side and uncurl from your spine. Lift your shoulders, let them come to ease. Then swivel your feet around as you turn to the other side. Stand perhaps a tiny bit wider than the triangle pose, toes to the short side, heel to the other short side. A soft bend into the front knee. A breath in, perhaps, to raise the arm. And on the out breath, starting to lean down the forearm to the side. You might again start with hand in the side of the waist. You might have your arm extended to the ceiling. One side the same as the other, maybe. As you use the arm into the side to help you take your top shoulder back. If it feels right, and only then extending your lower arm. Are you still grounding to the outer side of your back foot? Does it feel right to extend the arm? Can you use the resistance between the back of the hand and your leg in front? What is your chosen gazing point here? Parshvakonasana. While you use your front foot move, take a breath in to change. The back hand might release gently. Your legs are still the same, front knee bend. Your arm might reach up and back into a big stretch. Feel that drop into the back hip and counterbalance it by bringing more weight down into the back foot. As I now deliberately left the block by the side, roll your shoulder in, take the block, and roll yourself back into the same shape. As you might slide your backhand up to the side of the waist and find a place for the block with a good gap away from your front toes. As you slide your back foot a little bit in, be light on the block, roll the shoulder back or keep it back. And if it feels right, you may lift the foot again, perhaps flexing it. As the gaze might remain down for better stability, aim to stack your hips and your shoulders. The same as in the side angle pose, the last option is to raise the arm. And as we become aware of that, that brings that joy to the posture and the movement. You might choose your own variation. Landing your feet next to each other this time and softening back towards Uttanasana, your standing forward bend. Allow a few breaths here, the weight slightly leaning forward, fingertips supporting on leg, block or floor. The tailbone is high up. You might feel the heaviness of your upper body as you bring some lightness in by lifting the shoulders back into their socket. Bring a deeper bend into your knees now and a long exhalation to uncurl the spine back to standing. Your shoulders a lift and a shrug as you return to the mountain. We'll pause to integrate as you engage the inner heels lightly towards each other for more support in Tadasana. The palms might shine forward, your gaze steady, eyes might be closed. As you allow yourself to experiencing the changes you are creating for yourself within the body through the movement. Perhaps acknowledging that the mind partakes in this practice. And if the mind partakes, there might be emotions present. There could be a shift in your energy. Keeping your arms relaxed but by your side as you open the eyes and find steadiness in your gaze. Shifting weight to the left foot as you raise the right heel, turn your knee outwards. A tree pose where your foot lands to the foot, to the ankle, lower leg, or even upper inner thigh if you like to help your foot there. I will choose a very moderate version And we'll all start to lift a bit from the floor, growing the tree a bit taller. You can now choose to hold your tree steady. Or if you feel like an experiment, take the breath of joy into the tree. While you inhale, arms come forward. Inhaling still out to the side. Inhaling up. And perhaps there's moderation in the out breath as your arms release. You might try that a couple more times. As you land after the last round, place your foot back down to the ground. Without much further ado, lean the weight to the other foot and raise the left heel, turning your knee outwards and finding perhaps the same, maybe a different variation of the tree that fits better to this side of your body. You found your position. Actively lift away from the floor by lengthening through the grounded foot. The option is the same. Stay here, find steadiness in your tree, or take in 3 breaths of joy. Moderate them as you're in the balance. When you completed your round, land again on both of your feet. Reactivate the inner heels. Close the eyes or find a steady point. And enjoy the energy that you created in your body. With the next breath in, lifting your arms. Touch the palms now, bend your knees and draw the hands down the midline to land in a standing forward fold. With the inhale, lengthen the spine forward into a half lift. With the out breath, land your hands and your knees to the mat. I will grab my blanket now and do what I often do for seated support. Just fold it into a slightly higher little bundle and then come to sit on it. Your legs might be extending out wide. As you come to sit, shuffle your sitting bones into comfort. Perhaps feeling that light tilt of the pelvis that makes you go away from your tailbone and a bit forward. You might have your hands down and turn your toes to face upward as you use your fingertips to support a tall seated position, finding a steadiness in your gaze. Then stepping your left hand in front into the center of the leg and turning towards the right leg. You might have bends in your knees if you need them to be there, but while you breathe out, you're moving towards the right leg only. You might place your hands down if that feels comfortable. Using a block is an option here. And as you lean across out of balance from the center of the shape, encourage the opposite side of the buttocks towards the floor. Leave your shoulders easy, your eye gaze low or the eyes closed. Keeping your feet engaged so the toes are turned upwards and breathing slowly and deeply. Noticing if the other side of the buttocks is getting lighter and grounding back into it. Starting to uncurl from the forward fold as your hands are walking back up. Take a bend into the leg that you've just leaned towards and take it a little bit over to the side. I've now got a good gap between the foot and the long leg. Taking a hold of the bent leg as you lengthen through the spine. Let the right hand fingertips land behind your back and use them to lift off the floor too. While you breathe out now, start turning towards your bent leg. You can choose to keep a hold with the hand, but you might as well wrap your elbow around. I'm deliberately offering these two variations as they bring your leg into your abdomen. As you breathe into your belly, feel the movement against the thigh, holding yourself tall, supported behind and by the embrace of the knee. The foot on the long side is still in flexion as you explore that gentle abdominal massage. With your next inhale, turn the head to the center. With the exhale, release your fingertips, lean a bit back and extend your legs back out to either side. I'm shuffling again, so I can find my place in the center, using both hands' fingertips to help me sit upright. Perhaps there's steadiness in the gaze and the toes are actively pointing to the ceiling. Now taking the right hand in between the legs and slowly starting to turn your body to the left. Same option here, you may have your legs straight or your knees bent. And while you breathe out, you might sway a little and move forward towards this leg. You'll find a position somewhere, and this will look vastly different for every single body on the mat, unless you force, and force might not be your approach today. Only encouraging the opposite side of the buttocks to the floor might assist this shape. Turning your toes upwards still active as you allow yourself to surrender towards the left leg. See where you can find a bit more softness and where a little out-breath could help you to come a bit deeper, whatever that means for you. Staying with this lightly twisted forward bend for a few breaths. With the next breath in, lightly lifting out. Bring a bend into the leg you're leaning towards and take that with you. Take the foot with you and place it down towards the inside of the still extended leg, but leave a good gap between those two. As you draw yourself up on the bent leg to find length in your spine, keep a hold of this leg, but place your left hand fingertips behind now, using the fingertips as well as the hold to lift you even taller. And for your out breath, then turning towards your bent leg. If it feels right, you can choose to use your elbow instead of your hand around the leg. As we're aiming to hug in, keep a length in the spine and return awareness to your breath, moving your belly towards the side, providing a gentle massage on the other side. If you're stuck to the sides that I showed, you might also encourage your digestive system to function more easily. On the next breath in, turn your head forward. On the breath out, lean a bit back to bend both of your knees. Take your feet a little bit out towards the side and remove your sitting support. I'm coming on to hands and knees, but I will give you choices here. The hands are spreading out, and when on hands and knees, take the knees as far back as you need to bring shoulders back over your wrists, and find a straight line here from the shoulders towards the knees, with your tailbone lightly drawing towards your heel, kneeling plank. If you prefer, lift the knees, find a full plank. As you found your plank, keep the inner engagement and place one forearm down after the other, turning this into a forearm plank. Only by holding here might you still feel a stronger activation of your center, perhaps even a light tremble. Keep lifting out into your upper back and hold that tension as you slowly might lower your pelvis down. If you lower the pelvis, also untap your toes. Your elbows might slide further forward for more comfort, but keep the hands and forearms grounded as you lift your heart forward. Tuck the pubic bone down towards the floor. Engage into the tops of the feet. Sphinx pose. Shoulders are down, heart is lifting, gaze is steady or eyes are closed as you hold within the strength of the swings for another 2 slow breaths. With the following inhale, reach the heart forward. With the next exhale, spread your elbows out. Rest your forehead down. You might choose to bend your knees and let a light windscreen wiper movement from the legs side to side. As you could choose to release the legs down, step one hand onto the mat. You might have your little cushion that is the blank ready. You might take your block with you as you roll all the way onto your back. I've got a block by my side. The head is lightly cushioned, and I'm now rolling the blanket lightly underneath the neck for better neck support. Feet are on the mat, so the knees are bent, and arms are along the sides of the body with the palms on the floor. You might find that the feet are best off being placed hip distance, but then there's a good debate around what is best for heel and buttocks distance. While we're often measuring, I find for me this is too strong. When the fingertips are touching the heels, I feel my knees are very challenged. So with your arms more relaxed and the feet a tad bit further away, you might find the ease that you are looking for as well. Nothing speaks along against the full alignment here, but perhaps your spine becomes easier when the feet are further away. As you set up, touch the palms down firmly. Take a breath in just to lift your hips a little. And then breathe out and let them land softly again. As we repeat this movement, there's always a tilt of the pelvis with which that starts as you lift your hips maybe a tad bit more, and then rolling back down onto the floor. You could roll up and down a few more times and perhaps increasing your range of movement each time you are. Some of you might, however, prefer hold, and that's perfectly fine to practice too. So see what suits your back best. The rolling up and down with the pelvic tilt, or a hold. Perhaps you even find your perfect height for the bridge, in which I would ask you to stay in your next round. What happens when you relax your buttocks muscles? Are your legs able to hold? What happens when you re-engage the buttocks muscles? then perhaps relax them again. And then you're next engaging your buttocks muscles, trying to squeeze the tail up to the backs of the knees. See what it is like to stay here and pause. If any of you prefer support, slide the block underneath the sacrum. I would ask you to slide the block underneath the sacrum anyway, whenever you feel you've held long enough. Once you have placed the block underneath, let your buttocks muscles relax. Find that supported bridge. And if your head's tilted, realign it. The shoulders softly touching the floor. You could even take or keep a hold of the block for security, as you might lift your feet off the floor, perhaps even extending the legs towards the ceiling. If the block feels solid underneath, you can take the hands away from it, but you could keep a hold too. And you might then move your feet, finding soft, deliberate movements that you observe perhaps with your eyes or in your mind, maybe both. You might be intrigued how a movement of your feet ripples down the legs, and with that starts to impact other parts of the body. To see if you can follow the ripple effect of the movement. After a while, you might pause all movements, have softness in feet, ankles, and knees. If you feel optimally supported by the block underneath, you could now let go of strength in the arms as well and let them roll out like they often do for relaxation or shavasana, helping shoulders to get support from the floor. If you might take a hold of your block again, softening the knees back towards your chest, landing feet back down onto the ground. Once your feet had landed, squeeze your bottom back up, remove the block if you've placed one underneath, and very slowly rolling your spine back down. Take time to do so. Once you land, take a moment of nothingness, where stillness arrives and the mind has time to process. You might, after a few breaths, come to the conclusion that a little movement is needed. Or you might come to the idea that Shavasana would be great, for which you could extend your legs out long, let them roll open to the side, and then let the arms do the same. Arms turned upwards, shoulders snuggled to the floor. If you notice the leg extension isn't yours, and cushioning under the knees is not an option, you might bend your knees, take your feet out wider, and let knees fall inward. Constructive rest. As you come into stillness of your body, take a smile upon your lips. Noticing that lift in the face that occurs when you do. And let that smile stay internally on the face as you let go of any tension in your jaw, maybe even by moving it lightly, and then letting go of all activity as you surrender to the mat. Marianne Williamson says, joy is what happens to us when we allow ourselves to recognize how good things really are. So if you like, let's open the portal of joy. First, aligning with the energy of gratitude. So breathe and let yourself be in this moment. Hearing the sounds that surround you. Feeling the gentle movement of your body. And coming into your breath. Just practicing being here, present and alive. Aware of all the little things that make this moment special. As you might let any worries or thoughts or stresses release from you. With every breath out. And with every breath in, fill yourself with gratitude for this moment. Gratitude for the big things. Gratitude for the little things. Invite them all within you as you embody the beauty of life with every single breath. Feel your energy shift, open and calm as you awaken to all that is great in your life right now. And each time you breathe in, imagine the invigorating energy of joy entering your body, light and fresh. Let it fill you up, bit by bit, building on the foundation of gratitude for what is. Dissolving all the darkness or heaviness that surrounds you, and focusing on the simple intake of air as you breathe in joy. You are allowed to feel joy. You are allowed to be joyful. You are allowed to delight in the small and big things that make life so great right now. So call in more joy and let it live deeply within you. And expand the space more. More joy for you, more joy for others, more joy for the world. As you express the joy through the face again, whether you feel it right now or you invite it in, lifting the corners of your mouth for a little smile. Then start to deepen your breath, bring movement back, maybe even a stretch. You might then join me in a seated position when ready. Maybe the hands are joining to touch in front of the heart. The corners of the mouth rising again as you connect the hands to the heart space, the joy you cultivated within. And from there, with the bow extending forward, Namaste.